I met Denise in 2014. We built like a really close like friendship and a bond. And it's one of the first times in a long time I felt like I was like truly like happy. Things just began to move very quickly. Like we moved in together within like the first 2 months. As fast as everything came together, it also started to fall apart. I grew up in a Christian household. My dad ended up leaving. We had like it was like a really turbulent time. Definitely took a toll on me. I just kind of really started to fall away from church and God. And I started dabbling in some, like drugs, drinking a little bit. I was dealing with a lot of anxiety and depression. I was just kind of pushing that stuff under the rug. Like, oh, I'm fine. Like, I don't need help. I don't need anything. I'll figure it out. And I just I never really addressed it. 21 hit. That's when I really turned the corner into like just drinking all the time. That was kind of my escape from reality. Like anytime I had a chance to drink, I was drinking.
I grew up in a Christian home and kind of strayed from my faith. Just got into things of the world, followed my own way, just kind of, got lost in that. And then we met in 2014. We met and fell in love. We were in church and just kind of had this thought in my head to go to church. And I did. The sermon was for me. Went back home to our apartment and had another thought to go to the Bible. I had felt a really strong conviction of my sin. It drastically changed me. At the time, Ryan and I were pretty rocky, and I didn't really know how to bring it up to him. Kind of didn't want to. I don't think he probably wanted anything to do with it.
Our relationship became very toxic. Both of us, we were searching for attention elsewhere. It became to the point where, we were really unfaithful to each other. There was just really no respect or any boundaries in our relationship anymore. And the more that we do that, and hurt each other, the more it's like resentment would build. And during that time, she kind of had like an awakening where, she wanted to go back to church. I thought it was ridiculous. I didn't want anything to do with it. And I was pretty much on the other side, like, it's going to be God or me. I was angry at her. I was angry at my dad. And I was angry at God. Yeah, I spent a lot of time pushing back on her about going to church and like what she was doing. Eventually, I feel like I got my way. Like she's finally started to like phase out and like just come back into the world again, and we were doing our thing. Nothing was getting better really in our relationship though.
I had kind of reached rock bottom. Ryan and I had been really hurting each other. I went to a church. I had rededicated my life to Jesus and said, all right, Lord, this is it. Like, I can't keep playing church anymore. I gotta come back, and I gotta come back for good. I just realized that I was extremely selfish, self-centered. I was promiscuous. I had a lot of issues with lust, pornography. I mean, you name it. There was so much baggage that I was really dealing with. And he just reclaimed me. I was probably the biggest prodigal daughter, but that's kind of the beauty of Jesus, is that he redeems, and he's patient, he's kind, he's loving. I then started praying for Ryan. The Lord really just broke my heart for him because I knew that he was lost.
Started to see a visible change in Denise. She was maturing. She was really starting to find herself, and I wasn't. I was straying further and further away. The only thing that brought me enjoyment was drinking or, doing drugs. That was my enjoyment at the time. She became more and more ingrained in her faith and her walk, which made me more and more angry. It got eventually to the point where we were just like, yeah, I don't think this is going to work out. And this is 11 years into the relationship at this point. My final attempt was Gulfview Grace. And I was like, hey, I'll give another church a chance. And before we left, Pastor Paul caught us and chased us down and wanted to make sure he introduced himself. For me, that was like the worst thing that could ever possibly happen, because I just wanted to get out. Like, I just did not expect to be talking to the pastor afterwards. But that was obviously a God thing. I did not continue to go to church. I was still in between.
I was doubting God. I was like, there's no way. Like, Ryan would even tell me, like, oh, I could never be that church guy for you. Like, I'm never gonna do that, Denise. Like, and so that was rough for me. Broke my heart, but I still prayed. I still hoped. And it was rough because I got really discouraged. I wanted to give up. At the time, I felt convicted to move out because, we were still living kind of, just not right. We weren't married. It was really tough. I mean, he was literally all that I knew. It was hard to submit because you don't know, right? Like, I'm going at this blind, not knowing if this is gonna be restored or not.
Without Denise around, kind of just like a free-for-all. Just drinking and getting into just low places and just doing it alone. We were still talking and hanging out. We ended up going back to Gulfview Grace again and talked to Pastor Paul again and getting to know him and Tandy and building like a friendship there. And that kind of jump-started, me getting more interested in the Bible and discussing things with Denise. And Pastor Paul took the time to meet with me on occasions just to like talk through my questions, and so definitely just looking for answers, like and just kind of like what's like my purpose in this life. It was Easter Sunday where Pastor Paul's message was pretty much about like vices and searching the world for answers and trying to find your happiness and everything else, and it's just like a disappointment. And that's exactly how my last 10-15 years have been. It was just a repetitive cycle of me searching the world for happiness and looking at all the wrong places. It was exhausting. The message was pretty much like, hey, you tried everything else, why not try Jesus? That day, he asked if anybody would like to accept Jesus today, raise their head up and look, and I did. And it was almost like just a relief, like off my shoulders, because I felt like I was fighting that for the longest time. From there, I got baptized, and ever since then, like, our relationship really started to improve, and we've been growing together. The best decision I've ever made, because through all this time, like years of anxiety and depression, starting to actually feel like myself again. I don't need like the temporary vices. I've finally reached a place of contentment, and that's something I've been looking for a long time.
He's been working ever since. Both of us. In the unseen and the seen, spoken, unspoken, and he flipped my world upside down. I'm so grateful that we both made the decision to follow Jesus Christ, get baptized, get plugged in groups. Gulfview Grace Church really is, it's community, it's family. We need each other, and just really blessed. I'm really excited to get married.
Me too.
Because we're really building it on a solid foundation, and that's Jesus Christ. It's better than anything I could ever imagine.